Welcome back to the show. It's We Are Live. Chris Simmons, Travis Terrell, the great Chris Gardner is here. Happy to be here. Happy that it's happiest hour day, Thursday. That's right. Specials at 4 p.m. at Sophie's downstairs in our building, the .Zac 3224 Locust. That's right. Kendra Jones. Travis, you familiar with her?
I am. She's a very, very talented comedian.
Will O'Donnell. Familiar with him?
I am. He is a very, very talented young man.
James Christopher Sabala.
He sucks.
Oh,
it's terrible. I don't know how he got.
Why do you hate Filipino people?
I think you know why, Chris.
JC Sabala headlining tonight. Get there by 6 p.m. for comedy. 4 p.m. is when specials start. Jack Daniels and Schlafly specials. Excited to bring that to you. Guys, I realized this thanks to Zuckerberg. A year ago, we made a post about something being canceled and then us deciding to push forward. That's right. A year ago, Lou Fest canceled in the heat of the night.
In the heat of the night. We are saddened to announce that Lou Fest 2018 is canceled. Please visit the link above for more information. What more information do I need after that?
Hey,
what was more information?
Head of Lou Fest. Still haven't heard from you, buddy.
Yeah, that was a sombering, disappointing.
No, it was just it
to
sucked.
a degree. Wasn't a major surprise considering that everyone around town who was directly or even indirectly involved with the event started seeing certain red flags pop up here and there as we got closer to the date, and it became very clear that it was in trouble. Once essentially many of the officials from the St. Louis Police Department highlighted how they hadn't been notified as to
the first tip-off, just real quick, just being involved with it and everything, before we even had finalized on the comedy stage, the first tip-off was that they didn't, like 6 months prior, they did media outreach every year before to make sure that you had your credentials, and they were very succinct about it. There's a PR firm that they used called Common Ground Public Relations, and our friend Jenna works with them, and they're a phenomenal company. Nobody had reached out from Congress. I was like, that's really strange. And then once we started working with them, they're like, oh no, we're just doing it different this year. But that was the first, should have been the first sign.
A lot different.
Yeah, it was quite a bit. But they announced it was just, it was going to be the biggest thing, like for comedy in St. Louis. That was going to be huge. They had just put together the best feeling festival you could ever go to. It was fun, but not stuffy. There were all kinds of different music. There was all kinds of different music. There was all kinds of different opportunities. And I just always assumed it was just going to grow and grow. And obviously it did not. But, man, insane,
which is
right?
unfortunate because we said even at the time, it's very difficult to create something in general here in St. Louis, something from scratch. It's even more difficult to then create that event to the point where it's not only successful, but people actually look forward to going. And it's very difficult to create an event in St. Louis that people look forward to going that brings people from all walks of life. So you had a situation where it was finally an event, a festival, that everybody seemed to get a mass amount of joy and benefit from. Like the vendors, and at least, again, this is before it all came to a head, but it felt like it was beneficial for vendors. It was beneficial for artists. It was so beneficial for the entire city. So in our heads, in our minds, we were thinking, all right, St. Louis has something they can hang their hat on. We got some momentum behind a really cool festival that seems to be steadily growing. I think that was the gut punch for me, is that was over. That was it. Like something that we had come to enjoy, that we were going to be a part of, is no longer. That was the gut punch, because you're like, this is everything.
It was officially the end of summer for me in St. Louis.
Yes. It was the last hurrah for everybody to go out, have some fun, listen to some great music and some really nice weather. And again, everybody came. People from the city, the county, from beyond that, people from around the country were coming to this festival. So it was really a gut punch, because St. Louis has put together something that we have been talking about for years. Can St. Louis put together something from scratch that can draw people not only from this area, but from around the world? And they had, and in almost in a matter of, at least for our time frame, a matter of weeks, that was all gone. And that was the thing that still hurts me the most. I believe that there will be a festival that will return, because the desire is there, the want is there. But I think it's good that we went a year without it so we can flush all that bad taste out of our mouths. And this is specifically for the vendors many who still haven't been made whole. But it's good that we had the year off so people can, again, break that terrible taste out of their mouth. And maybe somebody steps up here in the next couple months to start to relaunch something in the same vein as Lou Fest. I would love to see it because I think this city deserves it, and they had something. You had something. That's the thing that's fun. You had it. You had it. It was right there. It was so close. It was so going to be so supple and so delicious. And so supple, and it's going to be...
Supple?
Supple? Is it suckle or suckle?
You said suckle.
Gardner, what's the ruling?
Well,
Look, do your research like you just did earlier last hour.
okay, you're learning supple.
So we went ahead and pushed forward.
Suckle is like that's a verb.
Okay, Chris.
You're suckling.
I suckle you all day long, my friends. Is
that's
that
not
a
a
proper
thing.
way to say it?
That is a way.
Okay.
We went ahead and did the Comedy Continues show, Last Laugh. Comedy Continues over at Southtown. Rest in peace. That was an unbelievable event. We had Mia Jackson come in and headline it. Had Matt Rife, who's now on NBC's Bring the Funny. Mia's comedy special is coming out on Comedy Central very soon. Taylor Tomlinson was supposed to be part of the show. She's a rising star. This was crazy, but the local comics, the St. Louis comics that came together, by Jack was a huge part of making this happen. We repped Project Wake Up really hard. Everybody that came out for this, it was the weirdest thing ever, and it actually ended up leading to us being in the space that we're in now, just because of the whole weekend. But yeah, Matt Rife, Mia Jackson, our friends Nathan Orton, Bobby J. Cox, Angela Smith, Chris Sear, all those very funny people came together, and it was like 6 hours of shoulder to shoulder line out the door at Southtown Pub, and just what a day! It was so perfect.
It's so
after such a nasty thing because it went really really well.
And
then we had the night show at Mission Taco.
It's so difficult to duplicate that kind of energy, to that enthusiasm for an event, and I think that's what we were very excited about with the Comedy Continues show is that we were able to carry that momentum, that energy that we would have saw at Lou Fest, and we were able to bring it to Southtown and of course Mission Taco. And so it did turn out well for us. And again, like we've pointed out, several vendors were never made whole. I don't know where those are legally currently, if there is anything in the pipeline at the moment. But we do know that a lot of vendors. But no, I mean, I would imagine that some people may have had taken some legal recourse after being owed certain amounts of money.
I haven't seen anything.
I don't have a source to confirm any of this.
I looked it up just as quickly as Gardner did. What the hell are you guys talking about? But it still kind of stinks. I'm not gonna lie. It still kind of stinks that Lou Fest isn't here because I
took
enjoyed.
away our Michael McDonald T-Pain collaboration.
It was gonna be a fun weekend, and I was certain that I was gonna find my sugar mama, and I haven't since. So
did you see me up on the stage? Is that what you would have done?
That was actually gonna be me. I was like, I'm T-Pain, right? I was going to pretend to be T-Pain that weekend.
Hey, man.
Such a sad day.
But yeah, we still did the comedy stuff, and then what would you do for? We talked about this a little bit already, but do we want to come up with another lineup for Lou Fest again?
Yeah, Travis was out that day because we were trying to figure out theoretically, ideally, what the lineup could have had in it. In some way,
could have had Billie Eilish, no doubt. She would have been on it.
That's the one. That's
that
probably
too big.
Yeah, it's tough to get, but I understand
It
that.
would have been a tough get.
Yeah.
But I think that would have been really awesome.
Because Beth, who works in our office, brought that up, and she also brought up Lizzo.
I think Lizzo probably finds a way of getting on that festival. I think I don't think we would have been able to get Lil Nas X. I don't think that would have happened.
Oh, that would have been.
That would have been a perfect one, though.
He would have been perfect,
Yeah,
but
that would have been
he
good
blew up
here.
so quickly, so fast. I don't know if we would have been able to get him for Lou Fest. Who else right now? Who were your legends? Who were your not legends, but your throwback?
I said you still had to make Michael McDonald and T-Pain work again.
I agree.
Because we already had the idea, strictly for our idea of the collaboration, that had to happen.
Has Tom Petty done this before?
All right.
No, I'm asking.
I don't know. Will Dick Gregory be emceeing?
Is Tom Petty dead? Tom Petty died. When did this happen?
I
was this-
tried to cut him deep.
was this
I
on-
went with Dick Gregory.
I was like, well, I'm not gonna lie.
Be cool if he would.
That would have been. I'm just saying. So he's not okay. I don't know what's going on in the white communities when it comes to celebrities. I apologize.
The hologram, Tom Petty.
That may have worked.
You don't know what it's like to kind of be me, right?
Bob Dylan's still alive. He
For
could have
now.
made
For
a.
now.
Gardner
Hey,
Till
Gardner! Don't you say his name,
strikes
Gardner.
him down.
Well, I'm the one. I'm not the one talking right now. This is you, Terrell.
Oh, but I've never killed anybody. Yeah, Post Malone probably would have made a trip to Lou Fest.
Okay.
Post Malone probably posted.
I've never technically killed.
What's the
anyone.
Louisville concert that you base it off of?
Oh
Well,
my.
I like to look at Forecastle just to see kind of what they had. And they had the Killers,
Yeah, that doesn't juice my beats.
Portugal the Man, Judah and the Lion, Chromeo. That was one. We could have
Ooh,
got Chromeo.
That would have been it. Yeah.
Oh, we could have got Chromeo.
That would have been fun.
We definitely could have got Chromeo.
They had Nelly.
Yeah, Nelly, not a top headliner. That's
Anderson
weird.
Park.
Yeah, we could have got Nelly.
We could have got Anderson Park. We could have got Playboy Cardi.
Dawes is nice for me. David Brothers. That's good.
We've had them here.
You could have had an
Yeah.
Amanda Shire or Jason Isbell, maybe even a Sturgill
Yeah.
Simpson with his new stuff coming
Well,
out.
and actually, but Sturgill has been here recently, right?
Yeah.
No,
with
it
the
was like
Fox.
a year ago, over a year ago.
Yeah, but that's too soon then.
But he's putting out new music.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's too soon for the
Mm.
festival then.
Mm.
I could see Isbell though,
Mm.
because Isbell was at Forecastle in Louisville the previous year,
Yeah.
so I could see that. If you could
If they
get
would
the
have
High
really
Women,
pulled one up, the High Women. Yeah.
the High Women, and then somehow they had Dolly Parton come on stage with them,
Well, if
that would have played well in this town.
and I mean, if Lizzo was booked at the pageant, that means she would have been on the booking docket. So that could have had like if you had Lizzo,
Right.
oh, doctor.
I think.
What if you got a collaboration between Lizzo and Dolly Parton?
Now that would have been a game changer.
Wow.
I think there
shut
are
it down.
there are certainly avenues that I hope are explored as we go forward in trying to bring a festival back to St. Louis.
Childish Gambino says Cankles.
Probably. I think there was certainly it's
Yeah, because he
'Cause-
was in New Orleans the previous year.
you have it now like St. Louis, and that's the also the tease, the wonder behind the MLS deal in that there are businesses who are willing to step up to spend some dough to, even if it's not something that was in their purview, it's something they're happy to bring to St. Louis because St. Louisans love it. We've seen that now with Worldwide Technology and the folks at Purina that they're willing to come together to bring something to St. Louis. They have acknowledged that they're not even soccer people, but they know this is a soccer city.
Well, don't
so
forget
this is
Enterprise there.
an enterprise. Excuse me, I never tried not to leave them out. But they've acknowledged that this isn't something that we had on our plans, but it's very clear that we have the means and the resources, and this is something the city wants. I hope that happens again with it comes to a festival because it's something clearly people that want. It was very successful, so it isn't
Yeah.
as if you're building this from scratch. This is from recent memory. People remember, at least again, outside of the recent cancellations, the positive things about Lou Fest. So I would imagine
The setting of where they had it to was
Forest Park was perfect. And now Forest Park with his new renovations, perfect, right?
yeah. I'd prefer it on Central Field again.
Yes.
The Muni lot, and that was fine while you were renovating. But I mean, it's done. The renovations are done up there. I scooted by there the other day.
I
Oh,
bet you
okay.
did. I
Just
bet you
casually
did. Probably
slipped that
going
in
by
there.
there. Probably too fast.
But maybe. But that's the location I would want. I don't want them to try and put it on the riverfront or anything.
That's fair.
I want it done in the crown jewel of St. Louis.
That's fair. Do it. Make it happen, folks. I know there are a lot of smart, very creative, deep pockets in St. Louis that can make something like this happen, and I hope it happens sooner than later. It would have been a great event, especially for my career.
I think we'll have something next year.
I agree. I think we will. I think there
Timing's
will
right
be something.
again. Timing's right again.
I think timing will be right. 2020, let's do it. We only have 2-3 more summers left on this earth anyway, so we probably need to get as many
advantage of it.
festivals out as possible.
What was your favorite? What was your favorite performance you ever saw at a Lou Fest? And again, I'm actually mad that I only started. Well, maybe it was the right time, but I only started going to Lou Fest 3 years ago.
No, that's-
Yeah.
About 3 or 4 years ago.
I didn't go in 2013. I would have liked to have seen that one. That one did have the Killers. I know that might not move the needle for some in the studio.
moved
I mean,
me.
they're
That moved me.
huge.
They're
Like,
huge.
yeah, that's not about me.
But it
Yeah.
also had like the National Wilco.
Mm-hmm.
So it had a nice lineup. The thing that sticks out to me, and I think I've told the story before, like when I worked with Bob Ramsey and the late great Brian Burwell on a radio show together called The Home Stretch. In that opening that I had designed for our show, it started with Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros in Home, and then that kind of the whistling and light guitar underneath as the voiceover work was going.
Right.
And then it kicked in
Mm-hmm.
to Arctic Monkeys, Do I Want to Know?
That's a great song.
So just that beginning, that boom, boom, and then the show yeah. So, and then kicks into the guitar.
What a great song.
So I think that was 2015. I'm playing slow pitch recreational league softball, the lowest form of sport,
Yes, it is.
for my local watering hole softball team
Very happy you highlighted that.
at Aviation Field.
Okay.
And as I'm coming to bat, Lou Fest is going on, and Arctic Monkeys kicks into that song.
Oh, wow.
And
It's like your walk-up
it
music.
froze me. It was like when Mariano Rivera had Metallica play Enter Sandman for him, like live at Yankee Stadium. I had Arctic Monkeys playing my walk-up song live in the distance
Wow.
at Forest Park.
And you stepped up to the plate?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Oh, boy. You just
I was
blacked
explaining to
out.
the ump, I'm like, this is amazing. And he's an older guy, and he's just looking at me.
Like,
"Nah,
okay,
never
okay, youngin'.
Never mind. But I thought that was something.
Arctic Monkeys
So
is
that
great.
that moment kind of sticks out to me. I thought in recent memory, Cage the Elephant was very good.
Cage the Elephant was very good.
Very good. I was there with. I've gone a couple times with Sean. Well,
Jesus.
I go with Sean. I don't end up leaving with Sean
That
because you
generally
lose him
makes- yeah,
you lose him
well,
20 minutes in.
no, there's no doubt about it.
He stuck around for a little bit with me with Cage the Elephant. Then I saw him later that night at the local watering hole, and I'm like, "What the hell happened to you?" He's like, "I don't know. I ended up in that VIP area smoking pot with some guys."
That's what the beauty
You
about
just lose him.
Lou Fest.
But
what
that's the thing.
happens.
And there's no concern. I know he's
No.
going to be fine. He's going to find people that he'll enjoy. People will enjoy him. So that was a lot of the fun of it. Was going over there with him, saying, "Hey, we're going to have a half hour together, but we're going to have fun no matter what," and introducing him like someone who's a little older to some newer music. He enjoyed that himself. So that was kind of fun.
You like being the maestro of this in the sense of certainly designing music festivals. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on this angle. If you are bringing back a festival to St. Louis, are you swinging for the fences? Or are you doing a little bit boutique? You're gonna do something where people kind of sort of know the bands, but you're not being able to bring in a headline because you need to build it back up again. Or are you saying, do you think that, man, if you can, that first one back should be Arcade Fire, or that first one back has to be, a big artist
Look,
in
I'm
order
not
to
gonna-
get
I'm
people.
not going to say no to Arcade Fire, so that's a little. I'm going to be biased there.
Okay, but do
If
you
you're
think they
telling-
need to swing for the fences, or you need just a single to get some runners on?
I think you have to come back strong.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
I really do.
I'm with you on that. I think if you're really going to say to everybody, we are back, and this is going to be a thing you do every year, you got to come out the gate with
But
someone that
part
is
of-
on the level of a Lizzo, Billie
Yeah.
Eilish-ish level.
There's part of that, but part of what made it good too in previous years, and I'll go back to maybe the early 2000s with it, like when it's just a few years into it. Like I mentioned that 2013, like you had some staples at that time, the Killers, that's good.
Right.
Wilco's obviously going to be recognizable in this
Right.
area. But you're finding bands that are just starting to hit.
Yeah.
Like the National at that time.
Yeah.
Just think of that. They had done that successfully in some years where they were getting those bands that just like, and they had Band of Horses, Dawes, or who am I thinking? Not Dawes. I'm blanking, but there's a couple others I was thinking in mind. I mean, KG Elephant, even the year they were here, they were recognizable, but it was like they were just getting in your face recognizable
Right.
too, in terms of popularity. So they had done a good job of doing that. So it's not just, as you know, hey, here's your headliner.
Right.
There's a design to that involves the formula's got a lot of factors into it, I think, to make it successful.
Okay.
And part of that was adding the comedy to it as well.
Yes.
Was designing it to, as we had talked before, had been done at some other festivals, but adding that, especially with the independent comedy scene, which you guys have done so well in spotlighting and others have done so well in spotlighting, to take advantage of the resources you have in the city.
Right.
And that was nice too. I mean, so like even the factors in that equation were changing as time was going on. So there are some positives that you saw there. Obviously, certain things have to change. But to answer your question, I think you have to come back with something big.
And I think they will. I mean, I don't know if they'll come
But
back with a major headliner.
It was normally a newer act and an older act that are big.
They were big, right? I think it's possible. And one thing that we have seen recently, and we talked about this when it was canceled, we are, for whatever reason, are seeing more bigger acts still making their way through St. Louis. There was a period of time before that lead up to Lou Fest where there were some artists who were skipping over St. Louis as a destination for their tours. Mm-hmm. And there are still some major artists that will not stop in the Midwest. They'll even jump over Kansas City. But there was a moment where it felt like Kansas City was getting a lot of big acts and St. Louis was not, where now I've seen recently a lot more bigger acts like the John Mayers, like the Ariana Grandes are still making their stops here in St. Louis. So that's good to see. So people still want to come to St. Louis. There's obviously music fan base here for all types of genres. So it makes sense for that festival to still come back, and it still makes sense to be able to bring a legitimate headliner. I think that expectation is fair. I think a lot of people, I think that was the thing about Lou Fest that also attracted people, is that over the years you did see some of the bigger headliners start to show up for this festival. And I'm hoping they continue to carry that momentum forward should they indeed bring it back. That's kind of important because St. Louis has earned that as a fan base.
A good example of someone who is hitting their stride and getting right in your face is Lizzo, I think.
Yes.
Like that's the kind of person or artist I'm talking about.
That's huge. She's perfect for a Lou Fest.
She's been on the rise a lot this year, but is really starting to get right in your face there. Hitting number 1 on the Hot 100 now.
Yeah.
That is the type of person I'm talking about when I'm talking about those groups or artists that are right there, right on the precipice of not only just singular hits, but multiple hits coming your way soon. Like that's, you want that. Because look, music people are going to be hipsters. That's why we make fun of them all the time. They want to be that, I saw so-and-so at whatever Lou Fest, whatever year, insert year Lou Fest. That's a music hipster. That's part of the culture.
Yeah.
And that's part of why you want it. It's because you know that's the culture that you're involved with.
True.
When you're doing music specifically. So you need stuff like that because then it becomes anecdotal. And then that keeps the conversation going about it too.
And it was so fun watching someone like Chris Dimon do a bunch of drugs. It was like, oh wow, look, he's going in for another line. That Chris Dimon loves these festivals.
Why does he say things that can actually come back? And
I went to the doctor yesterday, and they were asking about drug years, and I was having a little fun with the doctor. I said, "Is it because of my hair?" And she looked at me.
It's really funny.
Yeah. She's like, hard drugs, anything intravenous, and I'm like, like this, and she's like. And I'm like, no, don't worry. I haven't done that.
Jesus.
So, I was having a little fun. Well, they were asking a whole bunch of questions.
Well, they just want to see if you're okay.
Just going in for a preventative check.
Okay.
Or preventative care check or whatever the hell it's called.
Did you thank Obama when you were done?
No, but I should have.
You should have.
I got that Obamacare. Took 4 vials of my blood.
Did you tip him on the way out?
No.
Thank God.
John would.
That's
how that works. Back to Travis's erroneous accounts of me at music festivals. Did you ever see anyone?
Was that hard drug use, Travis?
It was very heavy.
And
that's my lead in to the Great American Race.
No and you hijacked it.
No, sorry.
You're trying to keep Chris from saying something.
Yeah,
aren't
I was
you?
gonna say. I was like,
Well,
oh.
I want to hear what Chris is going to say.
No,
boy.
I honestly don't know that I've ever. The first time I ever saw anybody do, like, I remember whenever I would, is it Riverport or something like that, and somebody like lit a joint. I was like, uh-oh, this is real, guys. But I never saw anyone like do super hard. I bet. I mean, I guess you could take LSD or something, but I never really saw a ton of like crazy drug use at Loop Fest.
Oh, at Loop Fest, you're out of your mind. You must have missed the tribute to what was the tribute we did 2 years ago for
Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry.
Are you talking hard drugs, though?
I mean, people smoking weed.
Like marijuana doesn't count.
There was some hard drugs being doing. That was
Okay.
being done. Been doing.
Because, like, I mean, all
Being
you had
done?
to do is look at
Did it?
Did it?
look at the Snoop Dogg performance and
Yeah.
just be
Yeah.
like, and like that doesn't
Oh,
count.
you mean
Yeah,
him
sure.
playing Katy Perry and then him rapping twice over it? Is that what you're? Are you talking about that talented performance? Oh my gosh!
That shit was
I was
live,
like,
though.
really?
That shit was live though.
That was live. No, it was a Katy Perry track that he's like, yeah, over.
That shit was live. That Snoop Dogg performance was live though. We know I like it. You know I like those kind of shows because I never knew artists had like there's concert sets and festival sets. Like I always just thought they did the same show no matter where.
Uh-huh.
And it's funny to see someone do their festival set. Because I've seen Snoop before, and that was absolutely festival Snoop. And I think that's funny because he probably has a package or his team has developed, all right, Snoop, when we do a festival, you do these 8 to 10 songs. And Snoop is like, all right, cool. When we do, whatever it may be, like it's interesting to know that those guys are so programmed when it comes to their own music that they give different types of shows in various settings.
Well, know
I
your
find that
audience.
fascinating. Yeah, very much so. And then that was a Lou Fest Snoop Dogg performance. Like you're not going to get deep cuts from Snoop at Lou Fest. So I think that people were like,
So wait,
for the
does that
Chris's
mean-
of the world who wanted
bunch
deep
of-
cuts, it's not going to happen at Lou Fest. It's called Lou Fest.
Bunch of boys jumping around.
Yes.
They went to an MCC school wishing they could
Yes.
drop the N-word.
Yes. Yes.
From,
Exactly it. He knows it. And that's what I find so brilliant. Like, I love these promotion teams or these teams that these artists hire because they are in sync with the art. They know, all right, we're going to St. Louis. We looked at the demographics. Everybody basically went to a private school.
They're parochial, literally parochial.
It's in a large park. They're probably all going to be eating turkey legs and Emo's pizza. So you can just give them the festival performance.
Just
Snoop.
do the highlights.
Just
do-
give
do
them the highlights, Snoop.
Now,
They'll
what do
love
we-
it.
what do
And
we-
they did. People like, that was great. And for a festival performance, it was fine.
What do we think about Will O'Donnell, who you can see at Happiest Hour tonight, 4 p.m. special, 6 p.m. start. Will O'Donnell says, thank you, Carter. Will O'Donnell says, vape pens change the game. No more setting one's beard on fire, trying to light a one-hitter.
Especially when it's windy. That's hard to do. You up here like, and you got everybody's beard. But that's why I'm so, pro marijuana for this city because you should have seen the unity. In front of that concert for Snoop Dogg, the unity, the people from all walks of life, black, white, rich, old, or poor.
Are you just so used to saying rich old white men?
Yeah,
that you
I
just
think
said
that's what
like
it was.
that?
Yeah, I was like rich and old. Wait, that doesn't even go hand in
You're
hand.
just so used to saying rich old white man.
people. I am, but it was just people just enjoying the hell out of themselves, and no one had beef or issues or concerns, and it was just. I think that's why it hurts my soul to not have it anymore because there's so many terrible things that come out of this city sometimes. And you want those highlights. You want to grab onto those highlights and keep them for as long as possible. And Lou Fest left us. So please, music festivals, hurry up.
What
and
about
return.
this? Watch Snoop and Ice Cube on 9th Street in Columbia, Missouri from a rooftop. The air quality up there changed drastically throughout that show. The news would have issued a low visibility alert. That's from the Black Sheep.
Woo, boy. But here's the thing. If you're going to go, if you're at a concert, if you're at a Willie Nelson concert, if you're at a Snoop Dogg concert, like there are things like I expect part of your performance. I'm not going to a Willie Nelson concert, and even if I wasn't a person who partook in marijuana products, I would still anticipate. Hypothetically, thank you, Chris. I would anticipate that there will be some marijuana usage. It's Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg. Like it's one thing if you were like going to a Garth Brooks concert and somebody light up. By the way, did anybody light up at the Garth Brooks concert at the Dome? Do you think somebody did?
Someone did.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, cool. I don't know. country folks did that.
Don't you
Well,
think?
you get Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg together, and you got, I mean, there's a collaboration, and you got a music. I don't see what's going on here. You do a flyover with the Air Force right at the beginning when, some people are standing for the national anthem. You do that to open the festival.
I can't wait till we do a DNA test and discover that's literally your uncle.
Do we need to see the video again?
Does it not lend itself to
I keep it
if
handy.
there's any if
I mean, I'm dressed like I'm in this guy's gang.
and I'm not even just saying because he's white, because I have crazy uncles as well, but I'm curious as far as whose family is this guy likely to be in? Gardner, Denman's, mine, Terrell.
See how they haven't come up with some kind of way to combat these storms yet. They keep saying, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, it's
That's
going to
right.
hit all this warm weather and warm water. We have a Navy. Why don't the Navy come
The turn
and
to the
drop
camera's
ice
brilliant.
in the warm water so it can't get going as fast as it's going? There's got to be ways to combat this instead of just pointing at the thing and saying, well, now it's getting worse. Yeah, we know it's getting worse. But you tell us, it's the warm weather.
guy.
It's the wind. Well, we have an Air Force. Drive some Air Force planes around to get the winds going the opposite way. Get the Navy to go in circles to fight it the other way.
Legend. Apparently, there's a news station in Maine, a television station. One of their meteorologists did the calculations to see how much ice it would take to lower that area of the
And?
temperature by like 2 degrees. I can't even remember the amount.
This is like an iceberg the size
It
of
was.
Texas.
It literally might be
An iceberg
Greenland.
The size.
The reason we want Greenland, but that would stop like one hurricane.
We need more ice. That is phenomenal. Thank you, Gardner's uncle.
So,
Boys and girls, that's a perfect setup
Hmm?
for today's game of the great American race.
there's no open.
That's no open for that. Great American Race, of course, is the game we play on
You're
this
really
show.
excited about this.
Well, I am excited, Chris, because last month I was cheated out of the Great American
Oh, you
Race
got
by
smoked.
a certain white male producer who made it his point. No, actually, I smoked myself. It was a terrible month last month for African Americans. I don't know what got into us.
You forgot
Jay-Z
what story you were
completely.
doing.
I forgot the story I was doing. Jay-Z decided to throw his entire community under the bus. It was just an awful month for the black community. So I'm anxious to get this game started again because I must redeem my people. It is time for the Great American Race. Gardner, how does this game play?
Well, we have a little scoreboard, as you can see right there.
Ooh, hello.
It's a credit score.
Hmm.
850 for Chris. 800 for Travis.
Mm.
Because of systematic racism,
Thank
Travis
you.
automatically dropped 50 points to begin.
You always really hit that one hard.
And each of you will present a story that will make the other's community or culture look bad, I guess. And
Put him in a negative light.
yeah, in a negative light. And throughout the month, we'll put these stories out there, and I'll keep track. I'll decide the scoring. I'm kind of the arbiter of the scores. And we'll lower or raise your credit score throughout the month. Whoever has the best credit score rating at the end of the month wins the Great American Race. Chris won last month handily. I believe you even went into negative numbers, Travis.
That was
because
embarrassing.
That was
You were asking for it yourself, though.
Yeah,
You
I
realized
did.
you were going to lose, and you just... I admire going out in a flurry. And
Thank you.
you were able to make a point at least about Jay-Z and your disappointment with him. But we start anew in the month of September. So who wants to go first?
Trav, I'll give you the honor.
Boys and girls, is there any woman that represents white America more than the Scarlett Johansson, the beautiful actress, played Black Widow in the Avengers? She's shown up in many of our favorite films. Yours specifically, Gardner, Lost in Translation. She
One
is
of my favorites.
She is set to be engaged. She is engaged and set to be married to friend of the show, Colin Jost. One of the
You think he remembers that phone interview we did
I'm
with him?
almost certainly he does. She's absolutely stunning, incredibly talented. She's a mother. She's a the highest paid actress in all of Hollywood, highest grossing.
She's a Black Widow?
She is. She is going to be Black Widow in the upcoming movie for Disney and Marvel. So she's on top of the world, boys and girls. Nothing Scarlett Johansson can do. Sure, she has a terrible history of appropriating roles specifically meant for Asian women. But
Maybe
she
she's
has,
just a really good actress.
well, okay. She's been known to play roles that people wonder could have gone to an actress of color, considering that the character is a character of color. But
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have watched them, though.
that's kind of what the studios were banking
Oh,
on.
okay.
I think that's what they had in mind. So Scarlett has this, I wouldn't say reputation, but the internet never forgets. And when you take on a role that was specifically meant for an Asian woman, you know, you kind of have some baggage. Nevertheless, she is still considered one of the most high-profile actresses in all of Hollywood. Hot hand, in fact. She's got a couple movies coming out this year, and again, Black Widow next spring. Well, Miss Johansson stepped in it today. Actually, yesterday. She did so in an interview with the Hollywood Reporter. She, of course, some of her best work, some of her more memorable work, and basically work that got her to where she is today. She has done performances for the very controversial Woody Allen. Woody Allen, of course, if many recall, during the Me Too craze, Ronan Farrow basically exposed him for sexual abuse, a history of being very inappropriate around younger women. And so a lot of actors and even Amazon walked away from Woody Allen. He no longer has a major studio distribution deal. He lost that last year through the Me Too crisis. And he's struggling now to get a lot of his work out because he's considered problematic. In fact, you've had actors in the past who have come out that says, no, it was a mistake for us to work with Woody Allen. I wish I had known what I know now. Not your girl, Scarlett Johansson. She was asked, how do I feel about Woody Allen? She responded simply saying that, I love Woody. I believe him, and I would work with him anytime.
So she has an opinion.
I love Woody. I believe him, and I would work with him anytime. So, Scarlett Johansson, representing your people, has decided to back an individual who has been accused with significant amount of evidence of abusing sexually young women. I have to say, as a community, if I were white, I would be ashamed. Not only because you're bringing back Woody Allen, who has been a stain on the white race for many moons now, you would have to admit. Now that the white woman of white women is stepping forward to defend this sexual predator. How can you allow this to happen in your community? How can you allow the face of your community, this beautiful, talented woman, to speak such horrid things about a man who used to be a part of your community as well? I think he is still a part of your community. This is a double whammy.
He's Jewish.
He is exposing your community once again. And now you have the backing of the most powerful actress in Hollywood behind him. I would be ashamed. I would be embarrassed. This is a terrible reflection on the white community. For someone who has consistently appropriated characters on screen, then to double down in support of a sexual predator? Sexual predator white community. Say it with me. Sexual predator white community.
Why isn't Travis in the little glitchy box anymore? Seems like he talks a lot more often now.
Nice.
Brendan Schaefer checking in.
Yeah, damn it. Glitchy box gone.
All right, Travis, I decide scores here. I've been listening. I'm going to take some points away from Chris.
Okay.
Oh, wait, that's you. Sorry about that. From Chris. I'm taking 50 points away from Chris. Not for your story, but because he didn't send me his story ahead of time with images.
Well,
All right, so
I think you'll be surprised that you're already ready.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good. But I'm going to take points away from you because I absolutely adore Scarlett Johansson, and the fact that you would present this in front of me, you might want to go fuck yourself. sir.
Oh my goodness, this is unbelievable.
I don't know what the
this
hell
is
you think you're-
unbelievable.
How the hell you think you're going to do
Oh
this?
my goodness,
Right in front of me
this is-
with my eyes looking right at you?
This is unbelievably what a plot twist.
Quite
And
frankly,
you know what? Now Chris is losing points because I've somehow done white privilege. So Chris loses a few points. I'm sorry, Chris.
Quite frankly, I can't support her since she had the breast reduction. If I'm
Oh
being honest.
God.
Oh, now Chris is losing more points.
I'm about to say that's sexist.
Okay, you're down
no.
7-7.
Sexual
Fact.
predator, white community.
Just because you say that over and over.
That doesn't work.
Because I say sexual predator, white community.
This
That's
was about
silly.
Woody Allen. This is not about her. You're losing more points.
Rats.
You're down to 720.
That was a cute story. That was a nice try. You virtue signaling young man.
God, ever since he's found that damn black Twitter hashtag, I'm in trouble. Shit. What do you have on deck?
What's your favorite website you think in the media, other than Complex?
That's got to be Twitter.
Website.
Website?
Huffington Post.
It probably is the Google box.
Huffington Post.
I read it from time to time.
From Huffington Post Crime. Houston, Texas. Ever been there?
Yeah.
What's the demographics? There a decent black population there?
I think it's the second largest black population in the country.
Things just got a little weird in Houston.
Oh, boy.
An armed group rushed Popeyes after discovering the chicken sandwich is sold out. They left their baby in the car. And Gardner, I told you, you were ready. Our streak of 247 shows with the Popeyes sandwich show stays alive. Reached a new madness Monday when an armed group of people rushed to Popeyes restaurant in Southeast Houston. Do we want to do a deep dive on their names? Do you want to jump into that? Employees told ABC 13 on the scene that a group including 2 women and 3 men rushed the door of the store after they were told in the drive-through that the chicken sandwiches were sold out. They reportedly left a baby in their vehicle. Staff told local reporters they were able to lock the group out of the restaurant. No injuries reported. Police working on description of the suspects.
Oh, okay. So there.
Oh.
All right. So there may be a window. There may be a
There's no
window.
window.
There may be a
Don't
window.
embarrass yourself.
I think we have a window here. There is
Well,
no description of
I've
the
got
suspects.
Follow-up articles if you need that. Male pulled a gun on employees. They ran out of the chicken sandwich. That's from the Houston Police Department.
We don't have a description. We don't know who these people are. We don't know what they look like. Is there video or is there photo evidence
Yes.
of the race of these individuals?
Yes. What a
I don't think
what
there
a
are.
sad quarter of an inch you tried to take
I
there.
tell you what, look, I do find the story to be very sad, but Houston is, look, Ted Cruz is the senator from Houston. How do I know that the people...
From Texas.
Well, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, only black people I know in Houston is like James Harden and...
So you're saying you don't know a whole lot?
I'm saying that we don't know for sure that these suspects were black.
But we do.
Do we have a photo?
Yes.
Do we have a name?
Chris,
Yes.
what's
Here.
the name?
Hang on. Here we go.
Let's without the photo first go by the name
Okay, let's
because
go by
that's
the name.
stereotyping.
Okay.
Also, look at Scott Street and Quarter in Houston. If you're familiar with the neighborhood. Let's see.
I am not. Not all neighborhoods of black people look the same. So
Do we have a name, Chris?
Yes, I'm pulling it up.
I
for
don't
you.
think we
You're
have a
losing
name.
points
I
for
think
not
we
being
don't have
prepared.
a name. I don't think we have a name, and I think it's very clear that this story.
I need a name or
This
Travis
is
is
a
gonna
racist
gain
ass
points.
story. Chris is just going to assert.
Frederick Taylor. Small dreadlocks, tattoos on his face, and was seen wearing a black shirt with red sleeves.
Did they say the race?
The fact that it's not mentioned means they're black.
What is the race of the suspect?
Chris is
Dreadlocks.
Right. Chris is right.
What is the race
No.
of the suspect? There is a description out for the.
but they don't always do that anymore now because they're afraid of getting yelled at.
Correct. They would have said, this white guy kicked in the door. There was a Japanese man kicking in the door. Do you want to take this L? Or do you want to kick and scream?
I will simply say.
Fred Taylor, former running back.
Yeah, it's Frederick Douglass. Freddie T does sound like
I'm
that would
sorry,
be his nickname.
dreadlocks?
I mean, Gardner technically has dreads.
Oh, man.
Just because my hair gets matted and I need to kind of get some of the tangles out doesn't mean I
Were the
have some
women
dreadlock.
white? If the women were white, this kind of cancels out.
Okay, let me know.
That's a good point.
Chris?
If women were white, that kind of cancels out.
Small dreadlocks, tattoos on his face, and was seen wearing a black shirt with red sleeves. left in a blue SUV. What more do you need to know?
Who else was involved? Does it say?
That's a good point. The white people could have been
2 women,
ringleaders.
3 men. Okay, this is. I mean, if you
I'm
want
just
to.
saying. I'm just saying we don't know. Look, I get that.
But this took place at Popeyes.
In
It does.
Southeast
Or as I
Houston.
like to say, Popeyes.
Popeyes. Thank you.
Travis, you're going to lose some more points.
Damn it! Damn it! I knew that story. I tried.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. You're trying to do this.
This isn't fair, man. We've had a terrible 6 weeks. This is not fair. These are great stories Chris is finding, and I can't really combat it. And I don't know what's happening. It's like my black people don't realize that there's a game being played on a podcast that is important to me.
And you lost last month.
This is not the way I wanted to start this month.
So 720 to
Well
660.
done, Devin. Well done.
I have it right now. Chris,
I knew
ahead
that
of
Popeyes.
Travis.
I knew it was too good to be true. I knew it was gonna come back to haunt me.
It's causing trouble now.
It is.
Within the community.
It is absolutely. It was a shining moment for us, and now it's gone sour, just like everything else. Had a black president, and then y'all had to follow it up. And now we had a great run with chicken. Now we got to follow it up by robbing our own people. That's racist as hell.
Yeah, that's fair.
There we go.
Okay.
Well done.
So there we go. 720 to 660 is where we're going to hold
Okay.
until next week. In the great American, say it with me,
I want to thank Tech
That was fun.
Electronics for the great job they have done with this studio. They, of course, set me up when I was in Brooklyn, New York, and they were able to create this seamless stream of communication back and forth between Chris, myself, and, of course, Gardner producing on the opposite end. So if you need help on your tech electronic needs, you need to hit up Tech Electronics. Go to them in the Google box. Just put in Tech Electronics St. Louis in the Google box, and voila, you will be there on their website. There will be other options as well, but you probably want to click the top one. That's how algorithms work. Chris, anybody else you would like to thank for today's amazing show?
Yeah, absolutely. Our friends at St. Louis Counseling Services, stlouiscounseling.org is where you find their information. Check out Mental Health Matters each and every week. Our friend Rashonda Thornton is a guest on there. Coming up, a very talented person with a book coming out. She's recording her audiobook here also, and you can catch her on Fox 2 all the time, but she was on Mental Health Matters recently. She's a very talented dietitian against diets, actually, but she is on Mental Health Matters. Check that out. Also, big thanks to Farmington Fall Festival for supporting our show. You guys should support them by heading
Murphy
down
Settlement.
for Blues, Brews, and Barbecue.
Ooh,
That's
daddy.
right. Marquise Knox, Funky Butt Brass Band, our friend John Henry. Lots of great things happening 1 hour south of here, September 20th and 21st. You can see Carly Lawrence emceeing. Gonna be a heck of a time. There's a 5K that they're. Are you gonna run? You gonna run, Travis?
I'm right towards that barbecue.
St. Louis Barbecue Society is handling the judging. There's prizes, a cornhole tournament, all kinds of good stuff. Be sure to head down and check it out online, farmingtonfallfest.com for more information. You get VIP packages and T-shirts and the like. For Travis, for Gardner, for me kicking ass once again at Great American Race, we're back tomorrow live at 8 a.m. We'll see you then.
Peace!